ขอเชิญเข้าสู่เซสชันถัดไปนะครับจะเป็นในส่วนของท่านนี้เนี่ยครับจะเป็นแขกรับเชิญครับสุดพิเศษเลยจะมาจากต่างประเทศนะครับเป็นแบบไลฟ์นะครับโดยตัวคอลเลคชันนี้เนี่ยจะชื่อ Angry Polar Bear นะครับซึ่งเขาเนี่ยสามารถเมื่อวางขายเนี่ยภายใน1 วิเท่านั้นครับก็ขายหมดทั้งคอลเลคชันเลยครับบนแพลตฟอร์ม OpenSea นะครับถ้าพร้อมแล้วนะครับขอเชิญทุกท่านพบกับมิสเตอร์ริชจากแฮชแบรนด์นะครับ
Sawadee-krap. It is my great pleasure to meet you all of you participating in the Bitkub NFT fair on this wonderful day. Okay, let me first share a slide. Okay, let me begin by introducing myself. My name is Rich, and I'm with Hashbrand, one of the leading blockchain startups in South Korea. Today, I'm so excited to deliver a short presentation on NFTs. Well, I suppose that everyone here is so open-minded and forward-thinking, embracing the paradigm shift that is taking place based upon the blockchain technology. And this has already started reshaping the future and accelerating innovation in industries around the world. Some people out there, however, do not even know what they are or think that NFTs are a scam. NFTs are a fad. Well, it is understandable for them to think that way because there have been some NFT projects that either maliciously exploited their holders or became difficult and even failed due to insufficient capabilities. Nevertheless, NFTs are not a scam. NFTs are not a fad. Just because some NFT projects failed does not mean NFTs are not worthy of attention. So, what do NFTs mean to us? Let me put it this way. NFTs are the building blocks of the future. And in order for us to see this future clearly, we first need to take a look at what Web3 is. You cannot understand Web3 unless you understand Web2 and Web1 first. The web was created in 1989 with this vision of a decentralized and open network of information where users were in control, not platforms. The reason I hammered that down first and foremost is the value system of the way the internet was created is very similar to the value system of Web3. That is, users are in control, not platforms. So this we can call Web1, read-only communication. So during this first era of the internet, we saw companies emerge like Google, Yahoo, and Amazon, and everything in Web1 was built on these decentralized and open protocols like HTTP, SMTP, things like that. It was all open, like I said, but the only people who could really engage and build on them were highly technical. So the consumer experience was honestly quite poor. So I wouldn't encourage people to go and look up some talk shows and interviews from the early 90s of people trying to make sense of the internet, and they had no idea what it was. I recently watched a TV show in the early 90s, and they were like, oh yeah, the internet is like a computer billboard, or the internet is not necessary because we have a radio and tape recorders. They looked so random. Even in early 2000s, people thought the internet may be just a passing fad as millions give up on it. So it's a perfect example that the internet was highly technical. There was a huge barrier to entry, and that consumer experience was not great. So the Web1 was the early 90s, and over the next couple of decades, as those platforms like Google, Yahoo, and Amazon reached scale, consumers started migrating from the open services to more centralized ones because they were more sophisticated and that consumer experience was better. And here is where we have to pause and think about what this movement from Web 1 to Web 2 really meant. There is no doubt that the internet is the best invention of our century. And this movement from Web 1 to Web 2 is really good because it gave billions of people across the world access to the internet and all of its technologies. And that's a good thing. But it was also hard because when you have these big platforms at scale like Facebook, it becomes harder for individuals, groups, and businesses to innovate and create things online without fear of those centralized platforms taking control. There are a lot of examples of this that we still see today. And honestly, I think we have treated it as not important because we are so used to them. One example is Apple continuing to take a 30% cut of all revenues that go through the App Store. So let's say you are a team of creators doing business online. Then this is your job. And 30% going to someone else is a lot, right? Like, how do you operate in the black? How do you make a living when 30% goes to somebody else? There are a lot of other examples as well. Over the last decade, we have all seen how the role of individuals in value creation has grown substantially. The word influencer made it into the dictionary in 2016, and that's a perfect example. And obviously, the creator economy is already huge. So we saw marketplaces like Kickstarter, Patreon, Cameo, Waddies, Dreammaker, I can go on, that all allowed individuals to fund the teams, services, and products we consume. And so now, when we think about how we interact on the internet today, we are funding them, we are building them, we are operating these networks. Therefore, we should be able to collectively own them too. And this is the movement to Web3. So essentially, Web3 will combine the decentralization of Web1 with the consumer experience of Web2. So the barriers to entry go a lot lower. It will provide a level playing field for individuals, groups, and businesses to innovate and create things online better. And most importantly, it will bring us back to the original values of what the internet was supposed to be all along. So that's why it's really important to know the whole story. Yes, the blockchain technology of networks is new, but the values therein are definitely not new at all. And please do not get me wrong, I'm not a decentralization maximalist. I don't think everything on the internet should be decentralized, as I know that there are many centralized systems that actually work very well. But I will say that the blockchain networks do offer a much better approach than centralized ones because when users are actually aligned with platforms, the platforms become more anti-fragile. They can get bigger and stronger, and they actually have the user's best interests in mind. So let me give you an example of Instagram. It must be a couple of years ago, if my memory serves me right, that Instagram took away the activity tab and replaced it with the shopping tab with the intention of drawing more users toward its shopping section. Well, I cannot think of a single Instagram user who was like, wow, I wanted the shopping tab in front of the center. I'm so happy for it. Well, we all use Instagram to post pictures, photos, and share them with friends, not to do shopping. So that's a really perfect example of how Instagram, as it has grown, has become more misaligned with what users actually want. And it's not their fault. They are a business. They want to make money. I get it. But if it was a blockchain network owned and operated by its users, then everybody would win, as we can collectively come to a decision of what this network should look like, how it should operate, and if it's done well and users like it, the value surely goes up. So I reiterate that the blockchain networks to offer a much better approach to creating and increasing values. And the most crucial value comes from the community. This is the reason why I strongly believe the keyword that penetrates the essence of Web3 is community. Yes, you can say Web3 is all about community. If you look at the etymology of community in the Oxford Dictionary, you will find that it means to share. Share what? Share values such as political value, economic value, social value, cultural value, and so on. And a group of people who share these values is called a community. So simply put, a community is about sharing its values. And the best and optimal tool to build such a community is NFTs. In other words, NFTs are to play a crucial role in community building in the era of Web3. Thus, we at Hashbrand launched an NFT project called Angry Polar Bears back in February, aiming at building a mature, decentralized, autonomous organization, or DAO. Theme and the story of our NFT project is about polar bears. With the serious environmental issues, climate change and global warming are thought to cause the Arctic ice melting, and as a result, the land and food for polar bears have been disappearing little by little. That's why polar bears become angry as their survival is being threatened. We think that these angry polar bears are very similar to ourselves living in today's world. So you look around, sharp slowdown in global economic growth, high inflation, material shortages, supply chain disruption, delivery delays, soaring home prices, and interest rates rises all weigh down on business activity. There is even a newly coined word in Korean, 벼락거지, which means overnight beggar in Korea. And that's a perfect example. We work hard day by day, but our future, our survival in the future is not guaranteed at all. So we, being angry polar bears, built a community of individuals and businesses to help each other survive and thrive in the era of Web3. Specifically, we help and support companies to explore and discover Web3 business opportunities. So many companies ranging from global conglomerates to tiny startups yet understand how to capitalize on NFTs. One way to see it is as a marketing tool. Companies and brands can secure marketing funds by selling their own stories and identities. The awareness of companies and brands naturally goes up as its NFTs go viral. And it easily expands to the metaverse, and its heavy users of millennials and Gen Z consumers. And most importantly, companies and brands can build very powerful consumer fandom, by giving them a brand new consumer experience of sharing values. But there is no doubt that NFTs are a great marketing tool, but this is only a tip of the iceberg when it comes to what NFTs can do. So as part of the Angry Polar Bears initiative, we launched an initial NFT offering launchpad late last month. This is called Ice Factory, and still a beta version, but there are already a couple of companies in the process of getting into it. So by using the Ice Factory, creators and startups can easily raise money online from around 20K members of the Angry Polar Bears community. And the community members can get exclusive holder benefits both online and offline with the APB NFT authentication system. So the Angry Polar Bears, or APB in short form, is a picture for profile NFT project with a collection size of 10,000. It was sold out in only 1 second, and it ranked second on Clayton and ranked first among PFP NFT projects on OpenSea back in July. It launched and listed its own token as well. It is called the AI's token, and it is being used in the APB ecosystem. Currently, it is listed on the centralized exchange DigiFinex and will also be listed on the global top 10 exchanges. So we at Hashbrand believe that Thai NFT collectors also deserve an NFT project that builds a community of individuals and businesses to help each other survive and thrive in the era of Web3. And this is why Bitkub, the #1 blockchain company in Thailand, invited the Angry Polar Bears to its home. So together with Bitkub NFT, we are working on the Angry Polar Bears version 2, or APB Thailand. This is going to be an NFT project no one has ever seen in Thailand and take the whole industry to the next level. We will invite all of you, either as an individual or as a business, to be part of the paradigm shift. Thailand has many talents and robust businesses, and together we can make a difference. Okay, that's it for my presentation. Well, I want to have a Q&A session in real time, but circumstances are not ideal. Instead, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can reach me via line with the ID of the Well Digger or by this email address, rich@hashbrand.kr. Thank you so much for your attention. See you next time, face to face.
โอเค thank you Mr. Rich โอเคครับผมก็ขอสรุปนะครับที่คุณลิชได้พูด